Hey everyone, Lisa Salvatore here to talk about the beginning of March and the new moon in Pisces that takes place on March 2nd. Now, I have done separate horoscopes for each sign, and the Pisces new moon, in my opinion, is probably one of, if not the most auspicious new moon of 2022. And in those horoscopes, I do go into great detail from the time period of December 21st until March 20th. And I know that even though the time has passed, it would still be helpful to go and track it back and see what has transpired for you. Also, they are discounted right now. They are half off, so you can find those by using the link below if you're interested. But let's just get right down to it. So today that I record this video, it is February the 19th, and we are now officially in Pisces season. As of yesterday, February 18th, the sun moved from Aquarius into Pisces. Now, back in December and January and part of February, we've been under both Capricorn and Aquarius energy, and both Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn. And so Saturn is a very structured planet. It restricts us in a way, and it can limit us in a way, but it isn't to hurt us. It's just to help us be more serious, be more studious, get more in alignment with what we want, and become more determined and focused under Saturn energy. So when we were dealing with two Saturn-ruled signs, that was likely more of what the theme of the past month and a half, 2 months have been. Much more of a serious vibe. Now, the sun is now in Pisces. Yes, it does still feel like there's a little bit more of a serious vibe. However, Pisces is ruled by, well, the co-ruler of Pisces is Neptune, but the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And both Jupiter and Neptune are now in Pisces, okay? And Jupiter expands everything, and Pisces is all about faith and intuition and our connection to the divine and possibility, and compassion and empathy. And all these really beautiful, poetic, creative energies fall under Pisces. The shadow side to Pisces energy is that we can tend to numb out and escape and be deluded or delude ourselves or delude others. You know, there's an element of fantasy with Pisces that could also err towards the sides of Neptune, which on the shadowy side of Neptune material, again, is all those parts of Pisces. But again, on the positive side, it can bring in romance, it can bring in creative energy, it can bring in really strong intuition and premonitions. The dream space is huge right now. I've been talking about this the past 2 months or so, but even more so now that we're in Pisces season, you may find you're dreaming about water quite a bit, or you may be having some prophetic dreams or dreams about animals. Lots of symbols can come in through the dream space, particularly at this time. I want to share this book with you all because I love it. It is the Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen Farmer. Great book. Anytime you have a dream about an animal and you go to this book, it's amazing. The interpretations are so prophetically profound, and I mean, better than anything that you'll find on the internet, in my humble opinion. And even if it's not a dream, but necessarily like you want to talk about your animal totem or anything of that nature, this is an excellent book. I highly recommend it, and it has, I mean, look, it's got everything in it. I love when I dream of animals because the first thing I do is like, oh, gotta go check the book. And it's very indicative as to where we are in our life by this book. Regardless how odd the dreams may seem, there's a meaning to it. Okay, so under Pisces energy, dare to dream, have hope, have faith, but be realistic at the same time. We do still have planets in Capricorn and Aquarius, so that's good. It kind of helps us to balance out the sometimes being in the clouds, which Pisces energy can produce. We do need to keep our feet on water, right? We need to keep our feet, we need to keep our feet on land, not always up in the clouds. My gosh, you see? So the sign of Pisces rules over the pineal gland, or the third eye. And the main function of the pineal gland is to receive information of the light-dark cycle from the environment, and then to convey that information to produce the hormone melatonin. And the pineal gland is also responsible for our internal clock and our circadian rhythm. That's the technical function of the pineal gland. Now, as the third eye, there's also this element of, again, the light-dark cycle. But on the spiritual level, this is about deciphering between the light and the dark, letting in the light, letting in the dark. Receiving info in the third eye, psychically, receiving this information. And doing what needs to be done with it for ourselves. Meditation and zenning out are great ways to intensify your connection, and then in turn increase the function of your third eye and of course of your pineal gland. Thinking about this on a deeper level, why does meditation work, right? Let's think about that. Why does it help us when we meditate? And it helps to decompress everything, and it helps us to strip away what's clouding us so that we can see things more clearly. And under all this Pisces, strong Pisces energy, meditation is a bonus. It definitely will help to keep us grounded. Now, we're going to get to the new moon chart in just a moment, but I want to mention that Jupiter, speaking of getting ourselves more grounded, Jupiter is currently in the sign of Pisces, and so is Neptune, and they're getting closer and closer and closer into an exact conjunction, which will take place on April 12th. Now, Neptune and Jupiter meet up every 12 and a half years. So that's not like, wow, oh my gosh, this never happens. However, Neptune and Jupiter have not met up in Pisces since 1856, okay? I'm going to do a separate video for this because there's a lot that I can say about that, and just, let's just go to the positive aspects of this, which, I think there's going to be a serious increase in emotional sensitivity, in compassion, in spirituality, in, the divine workings of the universe. There's a lot of good that can come with that. Remember though, water, Jupiter and Neptune are both water. Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces speak to water, okay? For better or worse. So anyway, I'm going to do a separate video for that. But as Jupiter and Neptune get closer and closer, we're already beginning to feel these aspects, okay? We're already feeling it. So if you're feeling a little extra emotional, ungrounded, unsafe, insecure, crying at the drop of a hat, you drop in, you meditate, you go to your spiritual place, and you do what you can do to maintain this frequency of bliss, of compassion, of sensitivity for yourself, and then you can take that out to others. The only way we change things is one person at a time, right? It's the ripple effect. And this is what Pisces speaks to. Pisces is very impressionable. It picks up on everything going on, collectively. It's also a great creative energy for artistry, poetry. Any type of intuitive work falls under this energy as being very, very enhanced. This also promotes a very creative and inspirational time, very dreamy, very poetic, literal poetry. Intuition is kicked up. Now, as Jupiter and Neptune get closer and closer to their exact conjunction on the 12th of April, I will come out with another video with a separate reading and information for that, because it's a lot of information, so I'm not going to put that in this one, so be on the lookout for that. It'll probably come out next week or so. But I have done a video already back in December, I believe, for Jupiter's entrance and transit through the sign of Pisces, both for the collective and for the signs. So if you'd like to check that out, it is linked below. Before we get to the chart for the new moon, I would like to read to you the Sabian symbol for this new moon. I don't always read the Sabian symbols on here. I only do it when I find that they're really prophetically profound for the moon cycle for this time. So I'm going to read the symbol for 13 Pisces, as the new moon is at 12 degrees and 6 minutes of Pisces. We always round up with the Sabian symbols. So Pisces 13. Just feel these words and see how they resonate to you or speak to you. And think collectively. A sword in a museum. This is a symbol of the real weight of human personality, emphasized here by the surviving influence of great figures out of the past. The tradition of the race helps bring history to center in some outstanding individual of real promise at each point of crisis in human affairs, and the wisdom which thus becomes reincarnate in the new leadership is always available to counter any counsel of confusion arising from a moment's uncertainty. The dramatization of prior achievement is the greatest of all possible present encouragement. The key word is example. When positive, the degree is personal power in living common ideals, and when negative, ridiculous pretense of epic merit. So to me, this is extremely powerful and profound. This is speaking to leadership. This is speaking to history repeating itself with all of this current astrology, especially going into the Pluto return, this Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces alignment. We are rewriting history. This is literally telling us to hang tight, because what's coming is far greater than what's been left behind us. And, again, it's not going to feel comfortable at all, but we are making way for something. We are making way for the new earth, for the new world. That's all I can say. So I'll leave it there. I'm going to pull up the chart here for the new moon in Pisces. All right, the new moon in Pisces, March 2nd, 2022. It's on Wednesday at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Ignore the place. Let's just focus on the energy of this new moon. So we've got this new moon here, sun and the moon in the same sign, exactly conjunct each other in Pisces at 12 degrees and 6 minutes. We know that the new moon is always a time of creation and abundance and auspicious energy. It's a fresh start and a new cycle beginning, and it's a good time for new projects and endeavors. All planets are direct right now, as we know, but what's even more powerful about this new moon is the fact that Jupiter, expansive, lovely Jupiter, is conjunct this new moon. Jupiter gives us a blessing. Jupiter gives us hope, faith, abundance, optimism. Shadow side, we can overdo things, so we want to not go too much over the edge, but, remaining hopeful and taking chances in a healthy manner. Like I said, optimistic caution is always advised. Again, this makes a very dreamy energy, the dream space enhanced, intuition very enhanced. All falls under this Pisces new moon energy. So make sure you manifest to your heart's desire. Dare to dream. Put it out there. Our words have power. Our thoughts have power. Energy is everything. And this Pisces new moon further emphasizes that. So we've also got, Neptune's here in Pisces as well. Not, conjunct the new moon per se, but again, it's in the same sign and is moving closer and closer to Jupiter. So this still gives us that element of positivity and possibility. We've got Uranus here at 11 Taurus in a sextile to the Pisces new moon, which is a very nice aspect. This is that creative spark that keeps us going and it keeps our fire burning. So yeah, there's a lot of goodness here. There's a lot of sweetness here. There's a lot of positivity here. But as always, it's a mixed bag. So let's talk about Mercury and Saturn over here, tightly conjunct, both in Aquarius, which in a lot of ways can give us focus to get our projects done. It can give us focus on our goals. It can provide a healthy dose of objective inspiration and reality. But it can also restrict our freedom in some capacity. And, think about Saturn. He restricts things, right? And Mercury is the planet of communication, of speech. And so maybe on some level, Saturn is restricting speech. And we're seeing this happen by ways of censorship all over social media, all over the news. We're seeing this suppression of speech that's taking place. So this could actually happen to you, literally, or this could just be, what we're seeing playing out on a larger scale. But this is definitely here, and I believe that this aspect speaks to that on the shadow side. And then I want to point out that Venus, Mars, and Pluto, and Vesta here, all moving here in Capricorn, 26, 27 degrees of Capricorn. This is intense. This is saying, what do you want? And what are you willing to do to get it? Get serious, right? And there's a depth to this energy and a fevered tenacity to move toward it. Mars is in Capricorn. He's like, it's go time. I want to plow ahead and get what I want and what I desire and what I burn for and what is true for me. And because Pluto's here, it's really ramping up that intensity. Whenever Mars and Pluto are moving together, but those two energies they're fighters. They're intense. They go for what they want, and they can clash at the same time and really bring things, to fruition and to spark. But which way do those sparks go? We don't always know, right? But because it's Capricorn energy, let's keep ourselves in the space of grounded Earth energy. We will likely have the energy to crush our goals. It's a new moon, so we're setting goals at this time. Lots of energy here. Mars and Venus have a special alignment that they're doing. I've also done a separate video about Mars and Venus by sign for each sign and for this alignment, and also collectively. So definitely check that out. It's linked below. I go into detail there. But again, connections, relationships, projects, these are all coming into high focus about what we want and what we're willing to do to get it and what we're willing to get rid of in order to get what it is that we want. So this is this new moon energy in a nutshell. And again, for the most part, I feel it's very positive and very auspicious, and more than likely one of the better, if not the best, new moons of the year. even though we have a lot of stuff surrounding this, and all year long is going to be this way. I mean, look, it's never smooth sailing, right? Never is. And, there's going to be some good peppered throughout the tumultuous energy that we're bound to experience all throughout 2022. And we need to go Pisces. We need to go in that space that helps us to zen out, whatever it is, whatever helps you. Find it, hone in on it, and make sure that you have it readily available for you so that when you do go into those moments and into those spaces where you feel helpless or hopeless, you have something to help bring you back up, okay? Very important. Remember, Pisces is a very receptive water sign. We feel everything, okay? And everyone under this energy. So let's make compassion and empathy a huge part of this. I saw something really cool that speaks to all of this Pisces energy, and I just want to share it for a moment. It just dawned on me. I couldn't sleep 2 nights ago, and probably from the full moon and all the energy and whatnot, but I woke up, it was 2:30 in the morning, and I was like wide awake. And so I don't like to usually scroll on my phone, but I knew I was pretty much up at this point, and I wasn't going to go back to sleep. So I pulled out my phone, and I was going through my email, and I saw, I have the Nextdoor app. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically like your neighborhood, and it just, tells you things are going on, and people post in there and ask questions and sell things and all kinds of good stuff. So I went on, and the first post that I saw was from an older gentleman who lives not far, I guess. And he just wrote this post about how he has been feeling so hopeless and helpless and lonely with the state of the world and finances. And it was a really long post. And so many people were commenting on this man's post. It was unbelievable and overwhelming, the amount of support that he was receiving from complete and total strangers. Like, oh, we're here for you. We're all feeling this. It's going to be okay. I lost people too. This was going on. It was a huge thread. And the man came back and he checked in and said, hey, I want you to know, like, I'm good. I have a loving wife and beautiful children. I'm not in a space where I'm going to do something to myself. I just was feeling a little bit of despair and I needed to get it out. And it was just so, heartwarming and liberating on some level to see a total stranger just put himself out there. So in such a vulnerable space in a public forum with his real name and everything, basically saying, I'm floundering, guys, and I normally don't do this. And anyway, point being, there's so many people in the same space. All of us are in some capacity. So when you think that it's just you, go on your Nextdoor app. Doesn't have to be that app, but go somewhere and just, you never know where you get the support that you need and when you need it. So anyway, just another example of really beautiful human decency that I always love to see. We need to take care of one another. We are all here in this lifetime together for a reason. And think about this on a larger scale. We are rewriting history right now as we speak. And it's crazy. It's insane. And there's, I'm not sitting here saying it's amazing and beautiful and positive and that I don't have my moments of darkness, because of course I do, but we have to do what we can to try to keep each other up. And one day you're going to be up and someone else is going to be down, and then it's going to flip-flop, and we're going to have to hold that candle up, light each other's candles when necessary. Even with strangers. In fact, I would argue even more so with strangers. So say a kind word to a stranger, maybe they won't be strangers after that. Anyway, I can go on and on forever. It must be the Pisces energy. Take really good care of yourselves. Happy new moon. Stay good, guys. Bye.